Okay, so we're going to try to see if we can make this a little bit easier to graph. So we're going to look for the horizontal asymptote of these two. So we're not going to graph them, we're just going to see if we can find the horizontal asymptote. So the first one is 7x cubed minus 2x squared plus 5x minus 1 over x cubed plus 3x. And before, when we found a horizontal asymptote, we divided. And we said, well, however many times it went in evenly, we divided, we had it go into something evenly. And that was our number outside of our fraction, in front of our fraction. Then whatever's left over, the remainder, went over that denominator again. So this number outside the fraction is how it shifts up or down. That means that's going to be how our horizontal asymptote moves up or down. So I could write this out. I could write out 7x cubed minus 2x squared plus 5x minus 1 divided by x cubed plus 3x and say what times x cubed gives me 7x cubed. I could also, it's going to be 7. I could also see, well, just looking at this, my highest exponents, which we're going to call degree, my highest degree is these x cubes. So when I'm dividing them, I'm just saying how many times does my highest exponent go into my highest exponent in the top. Well, so I'm really just looking at the ratio of the coefficients. So my horizontal asymptote for this one is going to be 7. It's a horizontal line, so I'm going to write it as y equals 7. Can use the same idea here. Can say, well, my highest exponent here is x squared. My highest exponent here is x cubed. So what times x cubed is going to give me 7x squared? Again, just dividing. Well, is there any sort of, what would I multiply x cubed by to give me x squared? It wouldn't be a number, it'd actually be a weird fraction. So when that happens, I'm really multiplying, well, there's nothing. There's nothing times x cubed that's going to be a whole number that's going to give me that 7x squared. So my horizontal asymptote is nothing. Not that it doesn't exist, but it's literally nothing. It's 0. So I would get y equals 0. So basically some shorthand, if I have the exact same degree, so x to the n over x to the n, so the exact same exponent as my highest exponent, then my horizontal asymptote is just my ratio of the coefficients, just the coefficients over top of each other. So in this case, my horizontal asymptote would be a over b. If I have where my highest exponent at the top is less than my highest exponent on the bottom, so the x to the n, I guess, over x to the m, n is less than m, then my horizontal asymptote is just going to be 0 because it can't actually happen. It's nothing. Okay, we'll look at the third case in a minute.